Really excited for Halloween season, and today I want to go through my top 31 horror films. After this video, you'll have one cool horror movie to watch every single day of October. Couple rules right off the bat: ease off those TikTok fingers. Don't comment below until you hear this part, because it's important. Number 1, these are my favorite horror movies, not what I consider the best. Big distinction. Number 2, I'm only putting movies on this list that I confidently feel are horror. No Jaws, no Silence of the Lambs, no American Psycho, no Climax, and no horror comedies. And this one really hurts: no Aliens. Number 31 is Hellraiser, narrowly beating out Martyrs. I love the soundtrack. Practical effects still look very strong to this day. Yes, at the end of the film, it literally feels like the filmmakers turned out their pockets and found nothing but lint, because the special effects get really bad in the last 10 minutes. It just gets rough. But I love that it was at least the first kind of big mainstream movie to combine horror with S&M, and it really just dove in. This movie is horny, it is gross, it is extremely well made, strong setup, identifiable characters, a great villain and his henchmen. And if for nothing else, there's a attic transformation scene, and those practical effects look incredible. Everyone talks about the villains and the sexual aspect to this movie, and deservedly so. But the whole team that did all that work up in that attic, it looks great. Number 30 is The Witch. I love when a horror movie has a gut punch of an intro. Midsommar does as well. I know it's like kind of a tradition with horror to hit you hard quickly, and I'm not saying every film's gotta do it, but it's a trend I like. You know, I do respect how much authenticity they're putting into this. This actually feels like I'm on a farm hundreds of years ago, and that helped the fear because I never felt like they were safe. However, there are in the second act these kind of like longer stretches of old dialogue, and it does drag the film a little bit. Great score, one of the scariest animals I think I've seen in the film, and it's not CGI, it's a real goat, and that thing is scary as shit. Really, really freaked me out actually. He always looks like he wants to kill someone. This has my favorite use of ASMR in any piece of content I've ever seen. I usually do not like ASMR, but in this movie, in that scene, it worked beautifully.
What's that like, the taste of butter? A pretty dress.
The Wailing is number 29. First off, this is a great film. I don't like the zombie scene, and I don't like the use of comedy. I do think comedy can mix into darker work really well, and actually we see it a lot in South Korean cinema. I don't think it works here. Saying all that, I think this is a haunting and beautiful movie. I think what I love most about it, other than the main villain, I love how they use the location in this, the landscape. It makes this village look so isolated from everything else and overgrown. It just makes everyone look trapped. Plus, it's very well shot, music is great, all the performances are excellent. It's long, it's heavy, you feel such like almost exhaustion and despair when it's over. But sometimes like you want that. You want to sit down and be like, you know what, I'm wide awake, I'm ready to go on a journey, and this will definitely do that. The movie just beats you. Like, it's just, this movie's mean to you. You know what I mean? Like, anytime you think like, oh, this might go well, it just doesn't. All right, number 28 is Incantation. Yes, I like Incantation more than The Wailing. If I was talking about pure quality, these would be flipped, but I enjoy this movie more. I love this film. I still don't think it's getting enough credit as a found footage movie. I really don't. I don't know, everyone's kind of focused on like the iconography and it was all over TikTok, but the ways this movie experiments with the found footage genre, I think is honestly inspiring and so needed, because there's so many found footage movies, and I've watched a lot of them, that just kind of coast, and this movie is not interested in coasting. There's some haunting imagery in this. I love the ending, and this movie starts out great. It starts with like this immersive game with the audience. Favorite scene in this movie, honestly, favorite scene is just one image, and there's a chant going on in the background, and the words of the chant appear on the screen. And it goes on for a few minutes, and I was just so hypnotized and locked in. I could have watched that for easily double or triple the time, and I still would have kept my eyes glued to the screen. And the fact that the movie wasn't scared that you're gonna look away, wasn't scared that you're gonna check your phone. It doesn't treat you like you're an idiot, and it's willing to experiment and do weird stuff. I very much appreciate that. It's entertaining as hell. Number 27 is Shudder, the original one from Thailand, 2004, I believe. A lot of horror movies do this, and I think it's a pretty smart call. You establish like this one kind of concept, and you explore it as deeply as you can. So Shudder's main concept is photography. So there's a scary scene in the red room. There's a scary scene with a Polaroid camera. It feels organized around this main concept, but it's always playing with different things, so it's never predictable. There's some really disturbing imagery in that finale, and the actual ending isn't just scary, but it's really sad. I've never seen a film that had this many jump scares and it never bothered me because they were so good and they did freak me out. Highly recommended. It's a great like night rental with either friends or a loved one. It's spooky. It's actually one of the scariest films I've seen. Yeah, this is a dope film. 26 is Kill List. It's a hitman movie, it's a family drama, it's a cult horror film, it's a descent into madness, it's a character study. But the way I like to describe Kill List is that it's the coolest horror film I think I've ever seen. It's just interesting, it's just rad. There's moments that are very funny, like when the main character bullies someone with a guitar in a hotel lobby. There are scenes that you can't even watch, like one featuring a hammer. And then the ending is just terrifying. It's just white knuckle fear. It sounds chaotic. There's a lot of things happening, like I said. The fact that the script can hold it all together, doesn't go off the rails, and with all the changes still feel justified, I think is the mark of a very strong narrative. Like I said, it's just cool as hell.
It's important to learn from one's mistakes, I always find.
Fuck, that was dramatic. I'm bleeding on the carpet.
Number 25 is The First Omen. Oh boy, why? Why are you making a prequel to The Omen? Isn't anything original anymore, is nothing sacred. And then I actually watched it, and I went, holy shit, this movie has a voice. This is clearly a first-time director, not because it looks sloppy, because it doesn't, it looks very polished, but because it has that fire, that energy of a newer director who's hungry for a movie and willing to try new things and show scenes that might feel familiar, but in a completely different way. In almost every scene, there's always a sense that you're in some kind of dream turning into nightmare. The lighting is beautiful. They managed to capture that kind of golden Italian countryside look. Happy it started well, because I was watching this with some doubts, and then they made this glittery, almost pretty death scene that also had this haunting choir music in the background. It was such an interesting like juxtaposition of different elements. The moment I saw that, I went, okay, this one actually has some flavor. This movie's great. It's a gorgeous film. Number 24, It Comes at Night. Well, if the last movie didn't piss people off, this one sure will. A lot of people hate this film, and I actually understand why. If you're wanting a monster film like the very misleading trailer promised, you're not going to enjoy this. This is not a monster flick. This is a post-apocalyptic movie. This is about despair. This is about uncomfortable alliances. This is about survival. And this is especially about paranoia. And so if you like that, as awful as that may sound, you gotta watch this. There was never a moment when I went, oh my God, what an idiot. It made sense. Their procedures, how they interacted, the rules of the house, it all made sense. I was basically just like not breathing when I was watching this. I was so locked in. Plus, acting is great. Cinematography is great. It's so annoying how badly this was marketed because I think it's great.
I'm sorry, but the door was open before.
All right, I'm not going to jump to any conclusions, but just to be safe, I think that we all shouldn't interact for a day or so.
Dad, I'm sure it's fine.
Listen, I'm just taking proper precautions, okay?
23 is Kairo, also known as Pulse. Oh man, I've seen so many movies, so many horror films that are deliberately slow and they just don't really work for me. I feel like it's just dragging it out because it makes the film seem more important. Kairo does it right. It comes across as otherworldly. It comes across like something's not right and like the hauntings are sort of closing in very gradually to these people. It's kind of like two for the price of one. Like you get very creepy ghost scenes and you get creepy scenes involving like these old monitors, and it almost looks like kind of like dark web, seedy underground kind of video content that I always find kind of terrifying. And another thing that Kurosawa does in a lot of his movies, and this works especially well here, is that there's barely any music. It's unsettling. I do think the ending has some pretty shoddy CGI, but aside from that, I love how the ghosts are actually portrayed in this. There's a hallway sequence in this movie that is notorious. I think eerie is really the best word. This is an eerie film. Who could have predicted this would be here? Yeah, Gonjiam Haunted Asylum. I'm gonna keep this very quick because I've done a whole video about the first act of this movie. I've done shorts about this. It's shown up in my horror lists, but this is one of the scariest films I've ever seen. Not only does it feel so real, the way the characters talk when they're on camera, the way they set things up, but it also means that they can get great shots. Like, there's some really nice shots, and because there's so many cameras and there's so much equipment that it can create different kinds of scares. There's a lot of ingenuity with the creep factor in this movie. I'm already talking too much. The movie is scary as shit, okay? I'll just leave it at that. It is terrifying to watch. The second act is scary enough. The third act is just, oh my God, it's just nightmare fuel, and it doesn't let up. 21 is It Follows. I know there's a lot of people that don't like this. What bothers me is when people just say, oh, It Follows, that movie's shit. I'm like, well, I mean, even if you don't like it, you gotta admit, like, the movie looks nice. It's very well shot. It's shot with a lot of purpose. The soundtrack, you had to give me at least as interesting. I mean, I love the soundtrack. And also, I think Maika Monroe does a fantastic job in this movie. I completely bought how scared she was. Its core concept is something I'm a little surprised hadn't been done yet, which is something is marching after you. It could look like anyone, and doesn't matter how far you get, eventually it'll catch up to you. So it's the ultimate feeling of looking over your shoulder, and that terrifies me. The way a lot of these shots are framed, they encourage you to look in the background. Could it be that? Could it be over there? It's a movie that's inviting you to kind of scare yourself. It's just a cool movie too. It's one of the best horror intros. For a movie that's $2 million, looks pretty damn good.
Just know that I love you, okay? I just really love you both.
Number 20 is Perfect Blue, directed by Satoshi Kon. This movie is awesome because it's about a girl who's moving from music to TV and film. Immediately you start to worry about her because you feel like all these kind of creepy men are controlling her, salivating over her, and it makes her so vulnerable. There's so many great things in this film. The animation is beautiful, the editing is purposeful, but I gotta love the music in this. It's just so well used. There's a lot of variety in it. The whole climax of this movie is very intense. The way the villain kind of glides unnaturally as she's chasing the main character just really creeped me out. If you like horror and you like animation, this is a must-watch. There we go. Number 19 is Cure. Some people would argue this is more of a thriller than horror, but I would consider this horror specifically because of the overall effect that it gave me. Cure made me feel very uneasy, creeped out, hypnotized by something malevolent. Easily the best use of hypnosis I've ever seen in the film. It feels not only very realistic, but its simplicity is what makes it scary to me. The way the actor who plays the villain, when he hypnotizes people, it seems almost low effort. He's so nonchalant. It's about hypnosis and it's hypnotic to watch. So, success. Getting to some classics here. Number 18 is Rosemary's Baby. I'm gonna keep this one very brief because what can I say? Why do I like this movie? You know, for all the reasons, for everything. It's the acting, it's how it's shot, it's how the characters are framed. It's a sense of isolation. Sometimes separating how much I like a film versus like a 5-star rating. Sometimes they conflict. I can love a film, but I still have to like begrudgingly give it like a 5 or 6 out of 10. This movie isn't one of those situations. Like, I love this film and it's fucking great. There's nothing that doesn't need to be here. It's like a perfectly constructed watch or something. Like all the gears, everything's working just right. So let's talk about the substance, because it's one thing to just make like a sloppy fun movie and let's just be crazy and whatever, and like that's fun. But when a movie can be this wild and have such insane concepts and practical effects, and yet you can't just look at it and go, well, that movie's not made well. It's made very well. How taut the writing is, the editing that went into this, some of the shots are just beautiful. The production design is really great in this film too. Demi Moore is fantastic in this. I'm a little surprised she didn't win. Also, really fun performance by Dennis Quaid, and the film manages to make shrimp super gross.
Yes.
Hello. I'd like to order.
Number 16 is Alien. There's a lot of reasons to watch this. The writing is great, all the performances are excellent, but the look of this movie, the production design is outstanding. I had never once thought this was a set. It's such a perfect bit of production design because it still manages to feel like a horror setting, all like the long hallways and these open areas. Even the intro of the movie is literally just like tracking shots inside the bowels of the ship, and it's such a perfect way to establish it as like this sci-fi haunted house. Next is Black Swan. Yes, I consider it a horror movie. Yes, I do like it more than Perfect Blue, although it's kind of close. I do think this movie owes a lot to Perfect Blue. That aside, this is still very much its own thing. Natalie Portman is fantastic. I'm so glad she won. This is like a career best performance from her. This is the angriest I've seen Winona Ryder, and it's awesome to watch. Honestly, I think Vincent Cassel wasn't getting enough attention for this role. He is great. He carries so much authority and seediness in his performance. I completely believed him as a ballet director. This is another one of those movies where it grabs you so quickly. The intro is this beautiful ballet sequence. The way the light kind of hits Natalie Portman and the expression on her face so quickly kind of establishes what kind of character we're in for. Also, fantastic nightclub scene. So good. One of my biggest regrets as a film buff is that I never saw this in theaters. This is going to annoy people as well. Midsommar is my 14th favorite horror film. I've seen some people talk about this movie and just say, oh, it's like just a bunch of dumb people and they show up to like a cult, and I don't understand. Like, it's more than that. It's the kind of psychological persuasion that's going on in this movie. There's a lot of that. How the cult members talk to the main character, how they trigger her, how they swarm her, and just all those tactics are all there.
He's my good friend and I like him, but Danny, do you feel held by him? Does he feel like home to you?
I love the music in this. It is one of my favorite scores of all time for any film. I'm amazed this was not nominated for Best Score. So lively and pastoral, like I said, and so bright, combined with these kind of images, makes it so sick. And then the music can just so quickly shift into something weird or terrifying. This could be its own video, but the reason I like this and was scared by this more than Hereditary is because Hereditary was kind of showing me things I'd already seen. And Midsommar does to a certain extent. We've seen cults. This feels a little familiar to The Wicker Man, but the way it was done, what they do to people in this movie, and the music really got me in a new way. Number 13 is Wreck, the found footage classic from Spain. I really, really like how when this starts, you're not really sure it's a horror film. And I like when a horror film is scary quickly, when it's tense from beginning to end. I mean, that really works for me too. This works when you're not really sure what's happening. It feels almost like a mystery. Why are they being sheltered? Why is there some kind of corrupted government thing going on here? And then of course, once it gets creepy, it gets very creepy and very intense and just intensifies. Once it gets to the third act, that's where a lot of these movies kind of fall apart because they get so wild, they kind of stop being scary. This was approaching that, and then it slows down, and the night vision sequence is so deeply horrifying to me. Not just because it's night vision, but because of the silence, how realistic it feels, how terrified the performances are. There's just great stuff in this. This is so much better than the American remake Quarantine. This is my favorite found footage movie, for sure. I just think it's masterful. Number 12, The Shining. I like this movie so much, and I've rewatched it so many times because as creepy as it is, it's almost therapeutic in a way. It's kind of relaxing because of those gliding camera movements and also just the very matter-of-fact way everything's set up. You're getting accustomed to this hotel, kind of in the same way you explore a level in a video game or something, right? It's like you're getting your bearings, and it's kind of nice in a way. And then, of course, the movie gets very disturbing. Modern horror movies have been ripping off this score more than Psycho. I'm serious. Like, everyone fucking uses this kind of soundtrack, and it's actually starting to annoy me now. God, there's so many just great scenes in this movie, great bits of dialogue. Jack Nicholson's wonderful in it. He has a really good laugh in the bar.
A little slow tonight, isn't it?
This might be the horror movie I've rewatched the most. Number 11 is Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy. This is great. To paraphrase Jim Cummings, the director who reviewed this film, this is the most accurate depiction of a serial killer, at least feels the most accurate. It almost feels like a snuff film. It feels way too real, all of it. The sexual violence feels like you're actually just literally just watching it play out, you know, in real time, and it doesn't feel glamorized or sensationalized. It just feels like an act of sexual violence, and it's so hard to watch, especially when she disassociates. And it's not that gratuitous. And the lead up to it is terrifying because you're slowly starting to piece together who this character is and what's about to happen. There are several scenes in this movie that are scarier because of what they're implying. It's so high on the list because of the effect that it had on me. My breath just stopped. All right, number 10 is May. Oh, I love this film so much. It's funny, it's sick, it's creepy, it's dramatic, it's tragic. There's a lot going on, but at the end of the day, this is a character study. All of it kind of rides on the lead performance, and Angela Bettis is fantastic. She has to hit all these different emotional beats. She has to be a tragic figure, but she also has to kind of be a villain. As strange as she is, you empathize with her because she makes the loneliness feel very real, very hard to watch. It's such a fun movie. There's so much going on. I feel like the movie never takes itself too seriously, but still doesn't stop from being fairly unsettling as far as how the main character starts to snap and the actions that she commits. The ending is amazing, horrifying, but amazing, especially in terms of performance. It's such an entertaining unraveling of someone's psyche. I love watching this film. It honestly kind of blew me away, and I wish it was more famous. Under the Skin. God, this is so good. The first third of this movie I found deeply disturbing, and there's one sequence, I won't spoil it, I'll just call it the pop, that almost actually made me kind of fall off the bed that I was watching this on. Very, very frightening sequence. This happens to be my favorite horror intro. The classic fear of the unknown, and it's a fear of the unknown that's filmed beautifully, acted very well by Scarlett Johansson, and really directed with some panache, because there's aspects of this that are found footage. There's aspects of this that feel like kind of almost like a romantic drama, and then there's just straight up alien horror. The score is memorable and alien-like. There's so much shown about this character without her having to really go into a lot of explanations. It wouldn't make sense for her to talk too much because she is at least implied to be an extraterrestrial. So you get a sense of what she's like based on her behavior, what she does, what she doesn't do, who she doesn't help, who she does help, and how she actually kind of changes throughout the film. We've seen alien seductress films before, but not like this. Not like this at all. Number 8, Invasion of the Body Snatchers from 1978, I believe. This film is great. Yeah, we can talk all day about the body horror in this movie, how good it looks, but the horror of this movie comes from the fact that it does feel like you're too late. I love the intro of this movie because without any words, it establishes the alien invasion, and they've already landed. It's done. They've infected the world. So you're watching the whole movie trying to find out what they can do, how widespread this is. It's like you're constantly playing catch up, as a good mystery should, as a good thriller should. It just gets worse. Each new reveal depicts just how screwed our characters are, and that increases in scope as well. There's a dog in this movie that's just fucked up. You're watching the whole movie and it's disturbing, but it has this kind of level of subtlety to all of it. And then at the end, the director must have just gone, you know what, screw it. Let's just really mess with some people. And they throw in this dog that comes out of nowhere, and you just go, oh my God. It was such a sucker punch. And I kind of respect it, honestly, I do.
Don't be trapped by old concepts. Matthew, you're evolving into a new life form. Come and watch.
Number 7, the classic Psycho. I still think it holds up for the most part. This is one of the best horror scores of all time. Hitchcock establishes this tone and how he retains it with the simplest things, like the giant sunglasses on the cop. The camera angles are so good in this movie. If you're a cinematographer or have any interest in it, you have to watch Psycho. How do you compare a guy to the birds that he stuffs? Right? How do you do that on film? You can do something obvious. You can put shadows that look like wings or something. Or you can have him chew stuff and then shoot him from below so his neck kind of pulsates like a bird eating. It's shots like that. They just lock into your brain and they keep you so engaged. And that's what good shots should do. They should be emotional. They should make you feel things and they should keep your interest in the story. Number 6 is Mandy. Oh, I love this film. I love it so dearly. Gorgeous lighting. This whole movie looks breathtaking. The color combinations are vibrant. Nicolas Cage is actually giving a really strong performance. There's a scene where a character is given high doses of acid. Her face merges with the cult leader's face while he's talking, and it's such a long sequence, but like the movie Cure, I was just transfixed. That could have gone on for half an hour. It's hypnotic. It's the only way to describe it. Like The Substance, it's a movie that's wild and untethered, yet still tethered by quality. It never feels like it's dipping. It's always working hard. Also, great soundtrack. Titane! The pitch of this movie is just insane. It's a woman who is sexually attracted to metal. She has sex with a car and gets pregnant with a partly titanium baby. Oh, and also she's a killer on the run. Despite the body horror in this that I think makes it a horror film, this still manages to be a pretty intriguing and even heartfelt movie about identity, about gender, about family, and about caregiving. And these emotional scenes resonated for me. I mean, I was actually emotionally attached to these characters. There's very clever use of symbolism, of foreshadowing. It's interesting how these changes in tone still feel justified. I mean, the first third of this is just straight up horror, but then it becomes something else. Everything about this movie is great. It's shot beautifully. The acting is great. The writing is smart. There's lots of ideas that are explored. It's a movie that has such a crazy pitch and goes to such, atypical places, but does so with so much skill, both behind and in front of the camera. And I really respect that. Number 4, Lake Mungo. I said Wreck was my favorite found footage because Lake Mungo is not found footage. It is a pseudo-documentary and is the best one I've seen. You're not even sure the movie's going to try to creep you out. You're not even sure if this is a horror film. You just watch this almost like a real documentary. There's a tragedy and you're thinking, okay, like this is really sad, but the characters are so engaging. You feel so bad for them that you're invested. And no movie has ever done this. I was halfway through it, and I suddenly found myself trying to look away from the screen, like putting my hand up. And then I thought, wait a minute, why am I doing that? Oh my God, I'm scared right now. Look, I didn't realize that I was fucking terrified. It's like the horror is inside of an ice cube. You're looking at the ice cube and it just like slowly melts to reveal the horror underneath before you even realize that it's there. And that's what it did to me. And that's why I'll always rank high for it. Because yes, I think it's a legitimately great film. I think the acting is great. Editing is perfectly done. I think the pacing's wonderful. The ending is terrifying. I think it was YMS who said, if a horror movie doesn't scare you, then it should at least do something else. So if Lake Mungo doesn't scare you, it'll still work. It's a tragic pseudo-documentary. But for me, I got so much more out of it on a deeply emotional level. So that's number 4. I think this movie is amazing.
Something bad is going to happen to me. I feel like something bad has happened. It hasn't reached me yet, but it's on its way. And it's getting closer. And I don't feel ready.
Number 3 is The Thing. It is great. How the characters are set up, the practical effects, which still look amazing. This is the perfect bottle film, paranoia film. Yeah, this is just an amazing film. I'm not even gonna go too deep into this because there's too much to say. So instead, I'm just gonna say two quick things. They both involve the dogs. Number one, when there's a dog that's not like a real dog, you can tell. The way they trained the dog to walk is weird. It's not like a normal dog. And I love that they put that effort in. Just by watching it walk into a room, you know something's off. And secondly, that first dog scene is so grotesque, and it's such a wonderful experience to show this movie to someone who doesn't know what they're in for. I showed this movie to my brother, and he was like almost a little bored in the beginning, and then that scene showed up, and he just went, oh, it's so good. I mean, mean, but so good.
What the hell's in there? It's weird and pissed off, whatever it is.
The Fly, also a body horror film, also still holds up. The effects look incredible, and how quickly this film starts and really gets into the nitty-gritty of the plot, I just love. The fact that David Cronenberg told the team to design these effects, not to necessarily be scary, but he described it as cancer. And I think those are a really smart call, and you can see it when you watch the film. It's crippling him. It's robbing him of his body, and it's robbing him eventually of his mind. I think the pacing is just perfect. I really do. I love the dialogue. It's a sci-fi movie, so they tell a lot, and it's good telling, not showing, but they also show on several occasions, and those scenes I actually found a little creepy. The scene where he's putting so much sugar into his coffee and he can't stop talking. The scene where he does gymnastics that he could never do before. There's never a dull moment, and there's so few characters and locations, and they still make it so enthralling. Everything from the design level to the music, and obviously the practical effects is just expert.
His teeth are now useless because although he can chew up solid food, he can't digest it. Solid food hurts. So, like a fly, Brundlefly breaks down solids with a corrosive enzyme, playfully called vomit drop. He regurgitates on his food, it liquefies, and then he sucks it back up. Ready for a demonstration, kids?
How you doing, babe? Ooh, she gave me one of these. And number one, my favorite horror movie of all time is 28 Days Later. Again, we are not counting films like Jaws and Silence of the Lambs because I just don't think they're horror enough. The infected themselves are terrifying. I love how fast and brutal they are. I'm just gonna keep using the word love over and over. I love that the characters look like real people, not like models. I love the music and how well it fits these different scenes. I love the structure, how intense it is in the first act as you're starting to learn about the current situation, how the characters start to bond in the second act, and how the third act turns the tables on them. I love the character arc of the protagonist. I love how the director uses the same shutter speed that he was using for The Infected with the main character once he makes that change. There's nothing wasted in this. Like, this is kind of perfect. I can't think of any scene that doesn't need to be there. Every scene enhances the characters' relationships with each other, enhances the fear, acts as world building. I don't think this movie really scared me aside from a few moments, but it didn't need to. It was just so captivating to watch. Only issue with this movie is the younger actress. I think her performance is a little flat. That's about it. As purposeful and well put together as this movie is, it still feels gritty and rough and almost punk. I don't know if any other movie will top this, but hopefully one day one can. Those are my 31 favorite horror films, so now you have a horror film to watch every single day of October leading to Halloween. Check out the Patreon link below if you want to support the channel, and as always, thanks for watching.